Hello, everyone. This is Cross. What I'd like to talk to you about today is the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons mounted combat rules. So, let's get right into it. Mounted combat is a thing that a lot of adventurers they need to understand how to use effectively. I feel like a lot of players might shy away from trying to mount a horse just simply because they don't understand the rules, or they mount the horse and a lot of just on the fly rules starts getting applied to the situation. It makes combat just very, lack of a better term, very gummy. um so let's figure out exactly how mounted combat's written and designed to work. So you have, let's say you have a source of acquiring a mount. This mount can be anything: griffins, warhorse, wyvern, just anything that could accept a rider. A mount has to be one size category larger than you. Understand that for gnomes, that means medium-sized creatures count. It has to have an appropriate anatomy that can serve as a mount. That means that your big Goliath friend does not count as a mount, no matter how much you want him to. So, the first part, let's figure out how to mount and dismount a horse. So, to mount a horse, you need half of your movement. If you move at 30 feet, it takes 15 feet of movement. If you move at 50 feet, it takes 25 feet of movement. If you somehow move at 20 feet, it takes 10 feet of movement. Understand, it's just half of your movement. If you don't have half of your movement left, you cannot mount the creature on your turn. You can wait till later, but if you run out of movement, you can't do it on this specific turn. If the mount is moved against its will, I count this as any effect that would basically prevent an attack of opportunity from occurring. So things like a thunder blast, or things like a pushing attack from, the fighter has its martial dice where you can shoot the mount and knock it back 15 feet. Any effect like that is what it's talking about. An effect where it uses its reaction or uses its movement or is forced to use its action, I would kind of consider that its will. Even though you're shaping its will, it's still using a resource to do it. That's kind of how I would play it. You can interpret it however you like. If that occurs, the rider makes a DC 10 dexterity saving throw, or you fall off the mount and you're prone. Great. We now know how to mount a horse. We know how to fall off a horse. If your mount's not prone, you use your reaction to dismount as it falls. You land on your feet. Easy enough. So let's figure out what's going on with that real quick. Let's say we are 15 feet away from our horse. So on our turn, we move 15 feet, and then we use the rest of our movement to get up on the horse. Okay, now we're on the horse. What does this mean? Well, let's look at controlling a mount. First, let's look at... Yes. So when you're mounted, you have two options. You either control the mount or allow it to act independently. In the case of a horse, you would probably control the mount. You can only control a mount if it's trained to accept a rider. Most horses that you buy from vendors will have this training. Horses, donkeys, whatever. They all have this training. It moves as you direct it, and it only has three options: a dash, a disengage, and a dodge. Okay, well, hold on a second. I just mounted it. Now I control it. So what's going on here? The initiative of the controlled mount just changed to match yours when you mount it. So now this thing is acting on your initiative. It moves as I direct it. It doesn't require an action. It doesn't require a bonus action. it doesn't require movement, and it doesn't require reaction. I think I said that correctly. To manipulate this creature, you are just directing it as part of its training. Okay. Those are its actions. Well, what does this mean? A controlled mount can move and act even on the turn that you mount it. Interesting. So now I've used my movement. I've spent the other half of my movement mounting the horse. So now I'm mounted on the horse. This horse now has a 60-foot speed. And it can use its movement and its action. So now that I've mounted this horse, it can move 60 feet and dash for an additional 60 feet. What else can it do? If there were other enemies, let's say we have this creature here next to the horse, well, now it can disengage and safely take me and it away from it and move 60 feet. Interesting. So now we're starting to see the value of using a horse in open field combat. You can still have your action and your bonus action while manipulating this horse, and it can be zipping around the battlefield at about 120 feet around if you use its dash every time. So it has its own movement and it has its own action. And then you have your action. At the same time, if you've dashed 120 feet, and let's say you've managed to get here, you can spend half of your movement dismounting and then the rest of your movement getting next to this creature. That's a combination that you can do. So you can do it in the reverse as well. Okay, cool. So now I'm running around the battlefield at 120 feet. If there are non-mounted combatants in the fray, I'm kind of dancing around them. You know, I'm a bigger threat than normal. Cool. Keeps jumping around here. Mounted combat. Excellent. Okay. So this is mounted combat. You can remember your mount has your actions: dash, disengage, and dodge. I believe a warhorse can do something else. I believe it has a form of attack. I think that's the advantage of the warhorse. We can verify that maybe. If a horse moves, so it has this trampling charge, and it could be knocked prone. It also has melee weapon attack. Okay. Does the regular riding horse have this? It has a melee weapon attack. So, the big thing of the warhorse could be the trample. You could also allow it to attack. Maybe this riding horse doesn't use its attack action mounted. It's kind of up to you. However you want to flavor it as a DM, whatever you want to allow your players to do. Understand rules are more of guidelines, you know. You can keep it this way if you want. They're already zipping around the battlefield. If you want them to use their horse, give them an attack action, maybe it incentivizes them a little bit to stop dashing around the field if you feel like that's an issue. But this is mounted combat as it's supposed to work. You can mount the creature and zip. You can get on the creature, and now I can move and dash for a total of 120 feet away if I want to. If you have any kind of interpretations or any quotes from the PHB you'd like to look at, I'm just using the SRD right now. feel free to do so. And let me know what you think about these rules and these interpretations.